Hello and welcome to Soul GPS. It is so wonderful to have you all here and join us in this amazing conversation that is about to unfold. And today I have a very special guest here. She's someone who's inspired my own journey for longer than I can remember. She was the original catalyst that helped me to discover within myself that I have much bigger potential to share with the world and leave my comfortable, although very unsatisfying corporate career and embark on my own inspired journey. So here today, I'm bringing to you Tama Kieves, one of my greatest heroes, who's going to help inspire the process of discovering our life purpose. And as I often say in my videos, discovering your life purpose and taking action is one of the greatest things you can do for yourself while healing from narcissistic abuse, from childhood abuse, from any kind of trauma. It's the rocket fuel that will help you launch yourself into your new life. So I want to welcome Tama here today. I'm going to read her bio. Wait till you hear this. I mean, she is like amazing. So Tama Kieves, an honors graduate of Harvard Law School, practice with a corporate law firm to write and help others create their most extraordinary lives. She's the best-selling author of This Time I Dance, Creating the Work You Love, and Inspired and Unstoppable, Wildly Succeeding in Your Life's Work. Also, A Year Without Fear, 365 Days of Magnificence, and a course in Miracles for Life Ninjas. Her most recent book, Thriving Through Uncertainty, Moving Beyond Fear of the Unknown and Making Change Work for You. She's been featured in USA Today and on Oprah Radio. She's a speaker and visionary career success coach who has helped thousands worldwide to discover, launch, and thrive in life, calling, and businesses of their dreams. Tama is known for her electrifying presence, I 100% agree with that, grounded compassion, yes, dynamic sense of humor, well, wait till you hear her, and the believable and sweeping possibilities she ignites in others. Visit her popular website, tamakieves.com, and do sign up to receive 3 free days of inspired coaching videos to create the work and life you love. And here is something extra, a beautiful gift that Tama is extending to all of you. She's offering one of her most popular webinars, Dare to Decide, Making the Best Decisions of Your Life. And it's for free for my community. And it's on www.tamakieves.com/dare. There will be a link below this video so that you can just click on it and go directly there. So without any further ado, Tama, welcome. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that amazing, beautiful welcome. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to be supporting your community and having this amazing conversation together.
Thank you so much. So as you already know, a majority of the people who come to my channel are people who have experienced narcissistic abuse and all sorts of other difficulties in life. And as I was saying in the beginning, finding their life purpose is one of the, I think, greatest joys that we can discover. Certainly it was the case for me. So I want to begin by mentioning that people do know you as a visionary career coach, which you are, and you are definitely my own career guru who helped to inspire and embolden me on my own journey to quit my corporate job and do the work I love. So I want to begin by asking you, in a nutshell, how does a person discover their life purpose?
In a nutshell, I think that's my life's work, telling people how to do this. But
I know, read my books.
I think the main thing is really learning how to listen to ourselves and not to the negative voices, not to all the other things telling you can't. So, like my story, as you know, probably is, when I was younger, I knew what I wanted. I had a dream of what I want. I wanted to be a writer. That's what, that's what lit me up. But I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and my family was Orthodox Jewish. And, I heard, you're going to write, you're going to starve. And so immediately that dream was shut down. Immediately I was like told that wasn't safe, that wasn't good, that wasn't right. And, so I went off to law school and Harvard Law School and graduated with honors and was on partnership track in a major, major law firm. And so unhappy, because we are unhappy when we are not living our life's purpose. And so again, to answer your question, it's like, for me, I had to learn where not listening to myself went, like not listening to my dreams and not listening to what I wanted, even though it looked safe and even though it looked right. And even though other people said it was great, it almost killed me because I was so deeply, deeply unhappy. And I didn't understand, like, what am I doing with my life? And so I think the most important thing that we do for, and this is the work and is really, how do we listen to ourselves, our heart, our light, our joy, right? And so I'd always ask people to start looking at, what do I love? What do I love? What do I love? And immediately those negative voices are going to come up, right? Those negative voices are going to come up saying, well, that's stupid, or you can't do that, or who the heck you think you are, right? And so the real work is going to be learning how to trust your heart, your strength, your dreams. And that's for me how this journey begins.
What a beautiful way to talk about how to start the process. That's exactly right. And listening. I always tell my my clients to listen and pay attention to the voices inside. Yes. And you had mentioned the inner critic. Yes. And people who have been through a really difficult relationship or a divorce or come from a traumatized family, they have a really difficult time with that, with trusting themselves. Instead, the critic comes in and can practically destroy the belief in self, which I think is quite important in this process as well. So, which leads me to the next question I have for you. How important in making this life transition and following the purpose and discovering the purpose is belief in the self?
Everything. And to your point, I love what you said, is that I think, whether we've been in a narcissistic, abusive relationship, or we've just been in our culture, which is abusive sometimes, I think many of us have learned to shut down what's true in us. We've learned, we people will tell me all the time, but I don't even hear that inner voice, Tama. What are you talking about? I don't even know what I love. I don't know how to hear it. And again, I'm going to tell you over and over, it's about learning not so much only to listen to that inner love, but to learn how to not listen to anything else, And so it's the greatest healing of our lifetimes. It's the most amazing journey of our lifetimes, because you're going to learn how to listen to what's true in you. And like what you just said about how important it is to believe in ourselves. I'll give you an example of, when I first left my legal career, I didn't know what I was doing, and it wasn't like I had, everybody thinks, oh, well, she must have had money or she must have had this. And it's like, I was just following this like inner voice that kept saying, I think I'm meant to write. It's the only thing that lights me up. I think I'm meant to do that. But it was so scary to trust that, And so when I was writing my first book, This Time I Dance, it took 12 years to write that book, 12 years. And so talk about believing in yourself. I had voices constantly saying, what if you're just delusional? What if you're crazy? This is stupid. You're going to be poor, all these different things. And for me, writing that book was this journey of following this inner knowing, because here's what I want people to know. When you listen to what you love, it makes you stronger. When you listen to something that feels good, there's something that becomes whole in you, or resourceful, or you just feel more alive. It feels more true. You're more excited. You have more energy. And then watch as that other voice takes you down. Oh, you can't do it. Oh, it won't work. What were you thinking? Right? Because I believed in myself, writing that book back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I am so grateful because I didn't know how to get it published. I didn't know how to do anything. And I won't tell you the whole long story, but I originally, finally, after 12 years, had to believe in myself and self-publish it, like just put it out there in some way. And 4 months afterwards, it was discovered by the publisher of my dreams. 4 months afterwards, I literally got an email that said, "Your fairy godmother has arrived." And it was from a vice president of marketing and publicity for Random House, and Tarcher Penguin. And it was the most amazing dream. And the reason I share this is because if you have the courage to continue to believe in yourself, that inspired voice will take you places that your ordinary voice won't. That inspired presence, that inspired love in you, what you're meant to do, your life's purpose will bust through barriers, will create miracles, will have things happen we could have happened no other way. And it's the greatest journey of our lifetime. It really is, because it's really about discovering you're so much more than you think you are. You're so much more. We all are. And for me, it was such an amazing journey, because I always tell people, it didn't take 12 years to write the book. It took 11 years to believe in myself, 11 years to trust this, and 1 year to write a book. Because for all of us doing this journey, it is that. It's like learning how to believe in ourselves and to trust it. So absolutely, most important thing.
Wow, I love what you just said about how it's a practice, right? It's a practice. It's something that you do over and over and over again, because on a daily basis, you're going to face all sorts of obstacles, whether they are on the outside or on the inside, and your body becomes a compass. That's something I also teach my clients, is to really listen to what their bodies are telling you. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, notice that when you listen to and follow the positive voice, the one that's encouraging, the inner parent, I like to call it.
Yes.
The second, the sort of better upgraded version of the inner parent. And you listen to
Parent 5.0.
It's like there's something releases in the cells. It's like their cells open up. And energy flows through the body better. It dissolves obstacles, and miracles start to happen.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Going versus the shutdown.
Yes.
And a lot of people who have been through difficult time and abuse, again, they go into a shutdown mode in their bodies. And this, I find, is something that can begin to slowly open them up, is listening to that encouraging voice. And the more you listen, the more it's going to speak, and following with action on that. And then what will happen. So this was an amazing tip. Thank you for that.
You know what? In fact, if you don't mind, while you were talking, I thought, I just want to read this one thing, because it's exactly what we were just talking about. Where is it? God. I'm reading, if you want to read it, it's in my book, A Year Without Fear, which is daily mindset shifts. Yes.
I haven't.
Oh, you have Inspired and Unstoppable. Okay.
I'm going to read from this one as well.
Okay, cool. But I just wanted to read this. It said so much of what we were just talking about. It's January 13th, so it's every day. And January 13th, it says, "You cannot listen to self-judgment and your inspired self at the same time. Self-judgment doesn't make you stronger. It makes your fear stronger. Let go of self-judgment by realizing it is never telling you the truth, and clarity and joy will emerge. Take the nurturing road. It is the only way to inspired power. Today, I remember that when I'm listening to self-judgment, I cannot hear the voice of guidance." And I just, when we were talking, it just reminded me of that quote so much, because it is that thing of, again, when we listen to that fear, when we listen to that inner critic, it makes us weaker. And that's how we begin to know. And for me, nurturing yourself, being kind to yourself, being gracious with yourself, supporting yourself, that, or parent, like your thing, the upgraded parent voice, of that's how we not only hear our own best wisdom, but I will even say that's how we tap a spiritual power. That's how we tap inspiration, something that's beyond and above us and through us, right? So you're always choosing between that inspired self or that judgmental self, that inspired self. And for those who have gone through abuse, it's going to be the ultimate healing in this lifetime. And it's not easy. I'm not saying that, oh, just flip a switch and you're there. For me, this is a practice for the rest of my life. It's why I do this every single day, every 24/7, 365, that's why I teach it. It's just because for me, it's learning to trust those nuances and whispers and get even better at it. It's almost like an art form, right? To learn how to listen. So I love that you brought that up. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And as you talk about this, how you're immersing yourself in this mindset, in a sense, on a daily basis, I actually do want to ask you, so what does your day look like? How do you get this energy going as you're starting your day? Something maybe you could recommend to the viewers who, again, some of us, wake up in the morning and there's a sense of dread. It's the first thing you feel, is a sense of dread and fear. How am I going to face this day when I'm about to, lose my home and I'm fighting a battle, a divorce battle, or, I'm hearing my alcoholic parent is going to come and barge in my room. There's so much negativity in the world. How do you start the day in the most optimal way to ignite that energy and bring it into the day?
That's a great question. So I'll say a few things. First of all, even before I share that, I just wanted to speak to something you just said, which is, if anybody's going through like that dark night, right? That, like, oh my God, I'm losing my house. Oh my God, somebody's raging at me. Oh my God, I feel like crap. I just want to tell you, you're doing the bravest thing on this earth. And I'm so proud of you. And any of us who are daring to listen to who we really are, even when it's not established yet, even when there's no other voices saying yes yet, I'm so proud of you. This is the spiritual journey. If no one else ever sees what you're doing, please put it in this context of how brave and amazing you are to be listening to your soul, to be daring to do this. And keep in mind, for all of us, any of us who ever transcends limitation of any kind, anytime any of us goes past fear of any kind, we're doing it for all of us. Anytime, every moment you are kind to yourself, I'm getting it. We're all getting it, right? Every time any one of us does this, we're doing it together, because this is the journey of your lifetime. This is what your soul's asking. And again, I just wanted to say that really briefly. I'm just so proud of everybody out there who's daring to do this. And so you asked me a really great question of how do I get myself pumped up and blah, blah, blah. I wish that I had some sexy morning practice to tell you, like, oh my God, I sit in the lotus position and I have mala beads and I chant to the angels, but I don't have any of that because I'm not a morning person. So nothing gets me going in the morning. That's the short answer of it. I'm teasing. Two things I will say. So my go-to practice though, my personal go-to practice, the thing that has done it for me. And I'm not saying it's right for everybody, but I'm just saying it's what, two things I will say. First of all, as you know, I teach and I practice A Course in Miracles, which is a spiritual psychotherapy program of living in love instead of fear. So it's the context, it's the everything that goes through my bloodstream with this. Two things I'll say briefly, and then I'll tell you the technique. The other thing I will say at this point in my life, like I'll wake up and I'm like, nah, whatever. But I will say, because I'm doing the work I love, because I'm doing what matters in my life, because I'm doing it every single day, 24/7, I am pumped up. I am, that doesn't mean I'm in a great mood every minute. Doesn't mean that everything's flowing all the time, but there's a bedrock of, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing on this earth. And that goes so far in terms of your mood and your sustainability. So again, the first thing I would say to anybody, do something you love. Do something you love. If it's playing a piano, if it's playing in your garden, if it's writing, if it's, teaching your child how to love themselves more, whatever it is, do anything you love, because that's going to feed you in different ways. But the technique I personally use, and it's in, I think that book you have, Inspired and Unstoppable, it's in Inspired and Unstoppable. It's also in my latest book, Thriving Through Uncertainty. And it's a technique that I made up called the Inspired Self-Dialogues. And it's a journaling technique, because I wasn't really good with traditional meditation of just being quiet and letting that amazing voice come in. My mind's too busy and crazy. And so what the inspired self-dialogue is, let's say you're feeling like crap, right? You're feeling that dread. You write that. You write, like, I feel like dread. I feel like nothing's going to go right in my life. I feel I'm stuck. Whatever that fear is, you write it. And then you imagine the most loving, amazing voice ever in your lifetime answering you, the inspired self. So again, what would love say to you? So some of you have a spiritual belief system. Maybe it's God, the universe, your grandmother, it could be a nurturing person you knew. Sometimes what it helps is to think, what would you say to your best friend, or to your child, or someone you wanted the whole world for? And sometimes it's going to feel fake, or it's going to feel like you're making it up, like, oh, this is so stupid, but it's so helpful. So I'll write back, oh, dear one, it's okay, blah, 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 whatever. And then I dialogue back. I'll have the fear go, I don't feel okay. I still feel scared. I still feel blah, blah, blah. And so I keep dialoguing back and forth. And what I want you to know from this technique is that no matter where you are, no matter how anxious you are, no matter how sad you are, no matter what's gone on, you have a voice inside you that is strong, that is excellent, that is loving, and that knows what to do. That really does. And so sometimes when I can be really anxious and my mind is crazy and it'll be going on and on and on. And yet, when I do this, there's another voice in me. There's another part of me that does know something. So it's almost like changing the radio station. It's almost like going, ew, I don't want to listen to that radio station anymore. I want to listen to this. So for me, it's a way I started training myself to listen to another voice, right? So it's called the Inspired Self-Dialogues. And it's just basically from fear to love, from fear to love. And everybody's got that voice. Everybody does.
What an amazing answer. You just sort of drove right through some of my questions that I had for you about what do you do with low self-esteem, or if you're struggling with worthlessness, which is something that a lot of, again, I deal with it myself. Yes. And a lot of people I work with, they often ask me about this. There's a question that often pops up in them, like a guilt question, which tells them, who are you to walk this path? Mm-hmm. Like, who are you? Who do you think you are? Again, internalized criticism, probably from someone who was abusive. Yes. It sounds like switching the channel just about does it. But is there anything else, any kind of nuance that you can suggest when it comes to facing those? Great question. Great question.
One of the weird things about this is that, so I work with so many people, as you know, you've taken some of my courses. And so, I teach people to, listen to their inner voice, or I teach people to become coaches or to writing classes, whatever. And one of the things that I see all the time is that people feel worthless, or I don't have any confidence, or who am I to do this? Or I can't make it happen. I'm not that talented. Or what if I'm not that good? Or I don't have the education, or all the different things, right? And first of all, here's what I want you to know. Two things. A, you are chosen, baby. You are chosen, right? This is not about you're just making it up and blah, blah, blah. And who are you? You've been chosen, meaning there's a reason that is coming to you. For my whole life, there was this haunting in me of, I think I want to write. I think I want to write. And everything in my culture told me that's stupid. You can't make money. Who are you? You don't even know write what, how to get published, anything. I mean, it sounded great, but there was that haunting that said, but I think I'm supposed to. And we all have that. We all have those little inner instincts. And so if you have an inner instinct, I want you to know that that instinct is coming from a command, is coming from a being a chosen, is coming from a higher source, a deeper nature. It's who you really are. Who are you not to do this? That might be the better question. Who are you to not listen to the sacred love that's inside you? Because here's the other thing. People need your gifts. People need what you have to give us. The world is hurting. There's a lot of pain in this world. There's a lot of things going on in this world, right? And so you have gifts to give us. When I was doubting myself of, who's ever going to read me as a writer and what I have to say, and what if I'm not good, and what if I'm not good, and what if I'm not good? And now as a writer, it's been amazing to get emails from people all over the world saying, thank you for your book. Thank you so much for your book. Your book changed my life, blah, blah, blah. That's amazing to me. That's mind-blowing to me. The whole time I was wondering, am I good enough? Am I good enough? The universe was saying, people need you. People need you. And so I'm going to ask every one of us to consider your gifts are not for you. Your gifts are not for you. Your gifts are for other people, right? So you're wondering if you're good enough. Meanwhile, people need what you have to give. And here's the irony of it, is that basically, if we are not doing what we love, if we are not in the service of our gift, if we are not living our purpose, and by the way, a purpose doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be how I love my child today, which is a big thing. Or it could just simply be how I love myself today. When I take a walk, how kind am I with myself today? That could be your life purpose. If you don't know your life purpose, by the way, I'd say make your life purpose listening to your inner voice. I want to serve this inner voice for the rest of my life. I want to know who I am. I want to know what I'm here for. I'm going to serve it the rest of my life, right? So, but the irony is if we are not doing what we love, we don't have confidence. While I'm not doing what I love, I don't have confidence. I had no confidence at all until I did what I loved. People look at me and think, oh, well, it must have been easy for you, or you're a good speaker, or you're a good this. And it's like, I was terrified. Before I started speaking, I had panic attacks. But in the service of doing it, I started hitting a strength and a love, and people started feeding back to me like, oh my God, that was helpful and whatever. And it started nurturing me. I didn't get the nurturing beforehand sometimes. So I guess what I want people to know is if you are feeling worthless or lack of confidence, doing something you love will give you confidence, because it's the place where we're all magic. It's the place where we're all magic. It's, when I write, like part of me thinks, oh, I have nothing to write. I don't know if it's going to be good. And then when I'm connected, it's like, oh my God, this stuff is coming through. And for me, it was like finally thinking, maybe this is what people mean by God, or maybe this is what people mean by spirituality. Because when I do this, wow, something's happening here, right? So again, best confidence boosting technique on the planet. Do something you love, and we need your gifts.
Oh, wow. That was another incredible answer, Tama. And I just need a moment to just absorb all this, because it hits in so many points. Just yesterday I was talking to a client, and our conversation went in the direction of discovering purpose. And it was so beautiful to watch her say, I just want to be free. I just want to be free from all these pains that have been holding me, the guilt chain, the fear chain. I just want to be free. I'm just like, what a beautiful thing to devote your life to. And what are you going to discover along the way?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, yes. And guess what I do when I have doubts, I read your books.
Yay.
Yeah. And it's like they're so filled with so much positivity. I mean, every single page has so much wisdom on it. And it's exactly what I need to hear. Like, first, I read it beginning to end, and then I just jump around because, as you know, we get exactly what we're looking for. So this is so beautiful. And I remember when I discovered my own place in the world, through my purpose, because for the longest time, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. And I think that's something that a lot of people who think outside the box, who, may not find themselves belonging to the pre-sketched, pre-written existence, and we feel that restlessness. We don't know where we belong. And it wasn't until I started to share my story through Soul GPS, which was also thanks to the guidance that you have given me through your books, that I found that. And like you said, you find your confidence, you find your self-esteem. It's all through taking that road. So Thank you so much for sharing that. That was huge.
Oh, and do you know how amazing it is to me? Like, I'm writing my books to heal myself and to save my own life. And I'm always in awe that it reached someone like you, it reached you across the seas, across the world, it landed for the person, and that you're inspiring thousands of people, and they're going to be free, and they're going to love their children better and rise up and be leaders and create change on this planet. To me, that's amazing. It really is, because we have no idea where our inspiration will go. We have no idea where it will go, right? But what we do know is if we're not living it, it's killing us. It's killing us, and it gives us a deeper sense of strength and purpose. And, life is hard enough. Life is challenging enough. At least if we have something that means something to us, it makes everything worthwhile.
Yes. And what I love what you just said about the difficulty in life and how we can sometimes internalize it to the point where we project it into discovering our life purpose as well and following our dreams. And what I'm getting from your book, which I'm rereading for the third time, and I'm loving it because I'm discovering all sorts of new things that I haven't seen before. As we change, we go back to the things we read, and we discover new things, new layers. And if it's okay, I'd love to read just a little bit here from your book, because it just speaks to this theme of ease, and discovering your own.
Oh, I could use some ease. I could use some ease. Bring it on. What does that author say?
Oh, you wrote this. This is what you wrote. Okay?
I know. I'm teasing.
I do.
So that's from Inspired
so
and
this
Unstoppable. Cool.
This is from Inspired and Unstoppable, and this is on page, I love how you gave the previous page. It's page 87 from the chapter, You Will Fall, But You Can't Fail. Mm-hmm. And here's what you wrote. You can't claw your way to inspired success. There is no platinum ladder to a grand slam on this path. In fact, I think there's a lounge chair. When I read that, I was so excited. And it's mandatory. In other words, you have to chill out. Mm-hmm. You have to approach this life a little bit more like a well-fed basset hound and less like the new guy on the SWAT team. You have to be free to succeed. Let go of proving, striving, panting, and always, always, always needing to win. This releasing this attachment to outcome. You may have to let things go awry while still belting out love songs to yourself as though everything is fine, because it is. What I'm saying is this: to be free to succeed, stay with the here. You have to be free to fail at times. I just think that that's such a great passage.
It is. And it's, and all throughout the journey, no matter what stage you're at, it's true, because many of us, I think we're scared, right? Or we're desperate to prove ourselves. Like, I've got to be successful now, or I've got to make this work, or I've got to make this happen. And that motivation will constrict you. That motivation will make you fearful, or you'll be trying to prove. And my own healing has been a lot of that, where I've had to learn to rest more, trust more, let go more, and again, it's the motivation of coming from love instead of proving, right? The motivation of coming from love or inspiration rather than I've got to get there, I've got to win, I've got to make sure other people know I'm doing okay. And it's so hard for a lot of us. And particularly, you mentioned a lot of people in your audience might be coming from a situation of abuse or real pain or challenge or whatever. I do want to make the distinction that I don't think we go from abuse and challenge and fear directly into passion and love and bliss. I don't think we go that way. When I left my law job, I thought, well, I'm disciplined, I can make myself do this, right? But I needed to crash. I needed to just let go. I have a chapter in, I think it's my first book, This Time I Dance. I have a chapter called The Year of Sleeping Dangerously. And it's because in the beginning, I needed self-care. I needed to rest. I needed to be kind to myself. And that was new. I had no idea how to be kind to myself. I was very cruel to myself. I was very successful because I knew how to beat myself up. I knew how to motivate myself. I knew how to whip myself into shape. But to do something you love, it doesn't work that way. And to really, truly have a life that you love, it doesn't come from that inner abuse, right? And so the first thing I had to learn was how to be kind to myself. And being kind to myself involved sometimes self-care, or like what you were reading in that book of just ease, of like chill out, get in the lounge chair a little bit. And it's truly, if you've been abused or you've struggled, part of you is still whimpering, part of you is still hurt, and she or he might need care, might need a little place to just finally rest and breathe before we go running right on, right? And so trusting that rest and that self-care will lead to inspiration, will lead to something good. It always will. So thank you for reading that passage. And you read it so beautifully. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for writing the book.
I wrote it to save me. So yes, thank you. And it so excites me. There's so many people all over the world that are doing what they love now because of these books. And it's like, oh my God, that just touches me so much. It really does.
Oh, yeah. This Time I Dance, your first book, really, really saved my soul. I mean, I'm not kidding. I thought that there was something really wrong with me, that I was sitting at this desk job, with a person wielding his whip over me, and I wasn't performing. And my mind was somewhere else. I was creating stories in my head, the ones that now I get to write. But I was always saying, like, there must be something wrong with me. And then I found your book. It's not this one, it's the This Time I Dance book, which is in another home. But it's, I just remembered how I was reading it, and it validated me on such a deep level.
Yes.
Yeah.
You brought up a great point of, I think so many of us feel like we don't fit in. So many of us feel like I don't belong here. I had that same exact experience of I don't belong here. There is something wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Other people know how to do this. Other people know how to fit in. Other people know how to make it work. What's wrong with me? And what I want people to know is, if you're having that feeling of what's wrong with me, that's what's right with you. That's what's right with you, right? Because you're not meant to fit in. You're not meant to fit in. You're meant to be who you are. And exactly like you didn't belong in that. When I finally, because I had the same thing of working, in a prestigious career, and everybody thinks, oh my God, you're doing so great. But inside you're dying, like, oh my God, because there's this other life in you. There's this other calling in you. There's another way of being, right? And finally, a friend said to me at one point, if you're this successful doing something you don't love, what could you do with what you love? And that's what woke me up to think, what if I was following love? And by the way, our world right now, we don't need more cookie cutter people. We don't need more people following the rules, just being conventional, just limiting ourselves. This is your time to wake up. This is your time to wake up. You have a brilliance in you that has never, ever, ever been here before and will never be here again. And it's only in you. And that's true for all of us. And I think each of us is being called upon now in this world to start listening to that brilliance and to start listening to that love, because that's what's going to heal everything for all of us. So I love that you brought that up.
That is beautiful what you just said. And I believe we're all trailblazers, and we need to bring this new energy into Earth. What's mainstream now is what used to be fringe. And
yes.
So don't need to go back in time. We gotta keep moving forward. So that is beautiful. Tama, I want to thank you so much for your time here. I feel like we could just continue for a long time, and maybe we can do this again in the future.
I was thinking, my God, we have a lot to share.
Certainly be really honored to do.
Thank you, and thank you for this.
We have a lot to share. Yes. Absolutely.
I didn't hear what you said.
And I just want to. Oh, I'm just full of gratitude. I'm just mumbling gratitude.
Gratitude, full of gratitude. Yes.
Gratitude.
I'm honored.
So I just.
Yes, please. What were you going to say?
Yeah. Thank you. This is a big dream come true for me. I know we're stepping on each other's toes a little bit because of our internet connection. But I'm sure that our viewers will be able to decipher what we're saying here. And what I want to say now is really want to encourage you guys to check out Inspired and Unstoppable, This Time I Dance, and also Tama's newest book, Thriving Through Uncertainty. We could all use some thriving in our lives, especially now in these uncertain times. So I also want to remind you again that Tama has offered a gift for all of you, for all of us. I'm going to check it out too. And that is one of her most popular webinars, Dare to Decide, Making the Best Decisions of Your Life. And it's for free, and it's on her website, and the link will be down below. So anything else you'd like to share, Tama, before we wrap up?
I think that one of the things that you had asked about, like how to listen to an inner voice or whatever, one of the things I probably should have mentioned was make sure you get support, like really surround yourself in support, especially those of us who are trailblazers, mavericks, changing our lives, coming out of abuse, right? We've created a world that was created in pain. You're going to create a new world now. So any of the resources that support you in that, of Ava's channel here, her work, of if I've spoken to you, my work, other people, I have an Inspired and Unstoppable Life tribe of people who meet constantly to continue to stay connected and stay inspired. I offer A Course in Miracles, which is the spiritual psychotherapy program I talked about. That's online, of anything that feeds your soul. You cannot get enough of it. There's almost like this stigma in our culture, right? Of, I shouldn't need that. I shouldn't need all those things. And it's like, but those of us who are changing our lives, I can't encourage you enough to get around like minds, to get around the people who make you feel good, right? And it doesn't have to be paid things, right? It could, again, sometimes for me, I've met the best friends of my life in classes. I've met the man I live with in a class, and so again, that you're creating a new world. Make sure you get the support. You deserve that. And again, for some of you, that might be spiritual support too. So I'm not proselytizing anything of just, anything that makes you feel greater and more. Find your path, your way. So I did want to mention that. And I also just want to mention, because I always say this, and I always like to remind people, your love and your dreams are not frivolous. Your love and your dreams and your needs are not frivolous. They are imperative at this time. They are imperative. We need you. So thank you so much. I know I'm going on, but thank you so much for the work you do.
Thank you. Thank you also. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And we look forward to reading your comments, your questions. And again, please do check out Tama's website and her resources. They're fabulous. They have, I would say, made me become who I am today in a great degree. So thank you again, Tama, for taking the time to write your books. And I always have such a difficult time wrapping these videos up because I just want to also keep going.
And this and that and that and this. All right.
Thank you. So, woo, thank you. And I can't wait to connect with you again.
Same here. Thank you.